Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Get ready for Talking Heads, the show where expert insights meet world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Brought to you by USA Global TV and Radio. Meet our distinguished presenters. From the great state of Texas, longevity expert, award-winning author, publisher, and distinguished Toastmaster, Red O'Loughlin. From London, England, soul heart awakener, novelist, vocal coach, and artist, Dr. Madeline Chan. Also from England, the Harley Street stress expert, therapist, ambassador for peace, and speaker, Carolyn HEWARD. And from Australia, ICF PCC credentialed coach, entrepreneur, and leadership coach, Mariska Dupria. Experience their expertise, connect with their wisdom, and transform your perspective. Watch Talking Heads on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. This video and its contents are the property of USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. Visit usaglobaltv.com for more details.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. My name is Caroline HEWARD and I'm known as the Harley Street Stress Expert. I am USA Global TV and Radio's resident therapist, and I also am host for A Woman's Prerogative, which shows every Monday at 7 p.m. British summertime, because we're now summertime, and Eastern time, 2 p.m. And I do my regular Talking Head show once a month. It's usually on a Thursday, the last Thursday of the month at 4 p.m. British summertime, which is 11 a.m. Eastern time. I'm an expert presenter in today's topic. Our show today is Talking Heads, and it's part of the Mind and Body Connection series. Our topic today is a very big topic, and I want to start to break down how we can look at the mood. So our topic today is the mood effect, why we eat, drink and feel really matters. So what is a mood? Have you heard the expression when somebody says, oh, she's in a mood or he's in a mood? Where are signaling that the other person is not okay, or there's something that's not quite right, or they're unhappy, or there's something that's not right in terms of they are sad or angry or unhappy. Now, I'd like to give you some insights as to what the mood is, because we can have different moods. So it's an emotional state of mind and feeling. It can be sad, it can be depressed, it can be detached, and it can be peaceful. So let's look at a couple of those. If the mood is detached, this is where anxiety and depression comes in. Depression is when we are very, very detached from our external world and our inner feelings. And when we are in a place of being peaceful, we are fully engaged and fully present. Have you ever heard the expression, oh, that person's just, that they're just riding the wave, or everything's easy for them? And that's because the person is present. They will say that, that person's got it, or they've got charisma, or they've got presence, but they seem to have everything working and it's all going in the right direction. I remember one day when I was out with a friend, and we were both going to a conference, and we went separately to the conference because of coming from the different places from our homes. But we both left at the same time and caught the tubes trains at the same time back home. And he had a horrendous journey. And he was saying, oh, this happened and this was late and I had to wait for this train and this took ages. And then I was on the wrong train going in the wrong direction. And it was a whole drama. Whereas I was short of time. I had 3 different tubes to get. And it was as soon as I'd got the one and I was off that one, I was on to the next one. And it was really easy. It was a quick journey. And I remember recounting the journey with my friends, saying, it was a really easy journey. How come you had so many problems? And he just said, well, that's just the way it was. And I said, well, let's have an easy journey on the way back from the conference. And have a guess what? It was easy. And he turned around to me and he said, you're just charmed. And I think that's because I was in a state of being, a state of mood that was positive, peaceful, present, and engaging. And because I was very present, I was able to create the experience that I was wanting to experience. And this is the magic. If we are in a depressed state of mood, or an anger state of mood, or a negative state of mood, or sadness, this can have a detrimental effect on how we are received by others, and also about how we can create or have a good experience in our forward thinking and forward activities. Have you ever had the experience where somebody or something has upset you, an event, a situation, and then you've carried it on? So somebody said something and you're offended, and then it affects your whole day. Have you ever had that experience? I used to be like that. If I was upset, and I would take it to the 11th hour. I would just stay upset. When I was very young, I would do that, and it was almost like I was making a statement. And then when I did my training many years later, I realized that I could decide not to be in that negative state of mind. I could decide not to continue to suffer. And this is where the negative states of mind, of mood, take us. We can feel very negative and then create more negativity in our experiences, in our situations, in our forward situations, and in our lives. So just putting a spin on mood. If you have a low mood, it then creates a low frequency and also creates negative situations. Everything is vibration and everything is frequency. So if we are in a low vibrational mood, anger, sadness, loneliness, heartache, those are very, very low energetic vibrations. And what will happen is vibration. Frequency attracts vibration, frequency. So when we are in a low mood, we will attract more to us that is low in frequency and vibration. So more negativity. And if we are not happy with what's going on in our external world, then we have the option to change it. You have the option to change how you are responding and how you are feeling. So mood, it is an emotional state of mind and feeling. And I choose to stay in a space of peacefulness. But then my mood can be affected by others around us, just like you. If there is a situation that's difficult, if there is a frustrating situation, if there is something that's upsetting you, then it is very easy to take on the mood of someone else. Have you ever had that experience where someone else is angry or negative and you felt the impact of that, and then when you've stopped being with that person, either within a call or a situation or event or a circumstance, and you're not with them anymore, and you've taken on their mood? Does that sound familiar? When you've taken on their mood, then you are in it. You're in that low vibration and low frequency, especially if it's anger, sadness, loneliness. So my invitation is to stop, think about what it is that you are feeling and what it is that you are thinking. So if you are sad and lonely, acknowledge, accept that you feel sad and lonely in that moment, and then decide to feel and think and change your mood. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as making a choice, because we can choose to feel angry or negative, or we can choose to feel happy. We can choose to feel peaceful. I have some great things that I do when stress hits me, like technology hits me. I do reach into the fridge drawer and I reach out for a chocolate bar. That's not always the greatest thing, and yet it's a stress response that I do have. And when the chocolate is finished for the month, then I don't go and replenish the chocolate drawer. I also will choose to do a meditation. I'll choose to listen to some music that's very upbeat, and more about that later on in this episode. So the big thing is to accept what you are feeling and thinking, because in the place of acceptance, this is where you can change. You can change how you are thinking, how you are feeling, and you can change your mood. Paul Elkman, he identified 6 basic emotions. They are anger, disgust. I thought that was a really good one, disgust. Have you ever felt disgusted with a situation or a person, or disgusted with something that somebody said? I thought, wow, that's really familiar. We do sometimes feel disgusted. It might be service that we've had, or a meal that we've had, or it might be an experience that we've had with somebody. But disgust was one of the basic emotions that Paul Elkman identified. Fear, happiness, sadness, and surprise. I thought surprise was a really good one because it surprised me. But when we are surprised, our mood elevates, our mood shifts. When we are surprised, it's usually pleasant, and it's usually a high elevated experience. So it's a high vibrational experience, and we feel good. Have you ever been surprised when somebody's bought you a present and you've started to open it up, and that glee of opening up the present, not sure what it is? I've just had and celebrated a birthday, and my big surprise was the fact that I hadn't organised anything. And on Friday evening, my birthday was on Saturday, I made a decision to dance. I made a decision that I was going to go out dancing all day and all evening. And I found a couple of events to go dancing. And it changed the way that I felt, because I wasn't sure where I was going to be. I wasn't sure which city I was going to be in. And so it stopped me arranging something. And when I made a decision that I was going to do something and I was staying at home, I landed up booking an event in Nottingham. I didn't know how to get there, but it was something that really interested me. And I'm going to share that with you because I'm going to talk about elevated experiences of mood. One of the things that really elevates my mood is music. And I really love dancing to 70s and 80s music. And one of the songs that really elevates me is a song that was out very, very long time ago when I was quite young, and it was ABBA, Dancing Queen. And whenever I hear it, the floor fills. It's one of those what we call a wedding tune, and it's the party tune that everybody gets up and sings along and dances to it, and it elevates your mood. And all I wanted to do was have an elevated experience on my birthday. I didn't need to indulge in food. I wanted to indulge in dance, because I know dancing makes me feel amazing. It makes me feel good for all sorts of what might sound like nonsensical reasons. What about you? What music elevates you and your mood? So what is an arrhythmic mood? An arrhythmic mood is a tranquil state and well-being. It is what I've just been describing, and this is our natural mood. Our natural mood is eurythmic. So if you consider and look at a newborn baby, the newborn baby is very pure. They're not in a mood. They're not negative or positive or anything. They are pure spirit. They're pure beingness. And they are what I call a pure bundle of joy. And they are in the eurythmic mood, which is tranquil and a state of well-being. So what makes men moody? Well, it's when they have high estrogen in their levels and a low testosterone, which causes an irritability in men. Now, this can happen because men go through a sort of a male menopause. And when they go through that can lower the testosterone levels and increase the estrogen levels. And when that happens, they feel irritable. And they also can feel angry and moody and have mood swings. So is your man, if you're a woman, is your partner moody and having mood swings and irritable? He could be going through the male menopause. Check out with your doctor to find out if that is the case, because many men experience it without actually understanding what's going on. If the person has high levels of stress, it produces the hormone cortisol, which diminishes testosterone and creates the mood swing. So when the man is very, very, very stressed, the cortisol level rises and he will become irritable and bad-tempered. Do you see that in yourself, or do you see that in your partner or a brother or one of your male friends? Ask them, are you okay? And invite them to move into an elevated state of being, an elevated state of mood. So is mood an emotion? No, it's not an emotion. It's a state of mind. It's the general feeling that influences our thoughts, our behaviours, and our actions. So if you're in a bad mood, in air quotes, you will do things that will negate and concur with how you are feeling. So if you're in a bad mood, you might be one of those people that don't like to eat. I usually go off my food if I am in a bad mood. Some people find comfort in eating in terms of comfort food. But my invitation is to stop, think, and evaluate. Are you in a mood? And what mood is it? And is it serving you? So moods tend to be less than emotions. They're not as intense as emotions, but it is a state of being in terms of your response and your reaction. So it's not about, the mood is your overall perspective. So if you are in a negative state of being, a negative mind, mood, then you might have come out the bed the wrong side. That's something else that people say in England. I'm not sure if it's in other countries, but we say, oh, that person's got out of the bed the wrong side, and then everything goes wrong. And then they focus on all the negatives, all the things that could go wrong, do go wrong, because whatever you focus on, you create and bring about. So how does mood affect the brain? It affects the learning and the memory, and it also affects your emotions. So let's look a little bit deeper into this. Fear, depression, stress impairs the effects of learning memory. So let me say that again. Fear, depression, and stress impairs the effects of learning new things, and it affects your memory, short-term and long-term. So this mood is quite serious if you are in a negative state of mind, a negative state of being, and in a negative mood. It can affect how your brain works, and it can also affect the things that you think you need to do that you've forgotten to do. If you're optimistic, you have happy emotions, you have a sensitive and positive effects, and that increases long-term memory. There are 9 basic moods that all people experience. We all experience joy, fear, anger, love. It might mean different things to different people, but we all experience some form of love, whether it's to a pet, whether it's to plants, nature, whether it's to people, whether it's to children. There are different kinds of love that we experience. All of us experience love, whatever form it takes for you. Courage, sadness. The one that surprised me, you're going to be smiling at, is amazement. When somebody is amazed, they're elevated, emotional. So the emotions become elevated and they move into the heart chakra. And so their vibration goes higher and they are able to create more. And also disgust and calmness. So there's that disgust coming back again in terms of one of the 9 basic emotions. Does this list surprise you? Because it surprised me when I was researching it. These are things that we do naturally. We can be surprised, we can be amazed, we can be joyous, we can be angry, we can be sad. And so these are not bad things. These are emotions and moods that we all feel. So the impact on mood and mental health: food, drink, emotions, environment, and influences, outside influences in terms of the environment. And I briefly want to touch on this because I have done a show specifically on seasonal affective disorder. The short version of that is SAD, seasonal affective disorder. And so when it's dark and it's winter and it's cold, it affects our mood and it can lower our mood. And I've done a complete show on seasonal affective disorder. So the environment that we are in can affect our mood. And I remember when I was very young, and it was back in the 80s, that there was a fashion, and it was huge glasses. And when you put them on, it looked like sunshine all of the time. And I've seen people wear them even on the tubes where it's dark and you're under tunnels. And they're wearing these huge glasses that have this effect of, when you're looking out of them, that it all looks sunny and bright. And it makes me realize that it was a fad, it was a trend, and it was fun. It reminded me of the fact that when we are in sunshine and when the weather is good, and in the UK, the weather is wonderful at the moment. It's very sunny, it's hot, it's warm, and it's just wonderful to have the doors and the windows open. And it elevates your mood. It makes you almost able to do more, to achieve more, and to be more, and to be more productive. And I've certainly noticed a lift in my mood since the sun has come out and it's warmer. It's been really hard in the winter, and I'm in the northern part of the country where it's cold for much longer. We have long winters, and the winter, it doesn't seem to have autumn. And that has, I know, affected my mood. And even if you're feeling cold, it takes extra energy to stay warm, to keep warm. And that can affect your mood. That can affect your blood pressure. That can also affect your heart. And that can affect your immune system if you are fighting to stay warm. And I certainly was. I've bought all sorts of things. I've got a nice kit wardrobe of thermal vests and thermal underwear and thermal tops. And admittedly, it wasn't too expensive to do it because I'm in the north of the country and there seems to be a lot of it. There wasn't when I was in London, and it was hard to find. And here it's very easy to find. I thought I was getting old, but what it was, somebody turned around to me and said that I was acclimatizing to the northern hemisphere. So if you are feeling cold, it can lower your mood. Food and mood. There is a gut-brain connection. This is a huge topic. For now, what I want to focus on is the fact that certain foods can boost your mood. And omega-3s like salmon, walnuts, leafy greens, berries, and dark chocolate. Yeah, you can have dark chocolate, boosts your mood. I used to go to a lot of cacao ceremonies when I was in London, and that was the cacao ceremonies was raw chocolate, ceremonial raw chocolate from the Amazon jungle. And that was known as a heart opener and a heart elevator. And I would feel really amazing, and I would feel really good, like sort of almost like sort of in love with myself, full of B vitamins. So dark chocolate, not milk chocolate, dark chocolate is really good for you. Obviously, everything in moderation. Foods that lower your mood, high sugar foods. So things like cakes, donuts, sweets, things like anything that's sweet and that's starchy, processed foods. I've been training on a course last year and I didn't even know there was a term called highly processed foods. And it's these, what I used to call TV dinners, where meals were prepared in a pack and you just stick them in the microwave. One, I don't have a microwave. And two, I would never eat like that. But there is a culture and a society that are eating these ultra processed foods, full of additives, salt, sugar, and all sorts of not great things in terms of preservatives to preserve the ingredients of the food so it lasts longer. None of this is good, and all of it lowers your mood. It is much better to cook fresh, to buy the raw state of meat, fish, and to cook from scratch. I've been cooking and making sauces from scratch, whereas I used to buy jars of sauces and add a few extra things. I now cook everything from scratch. It takes time, but there is something absolutely delicious about cooking from scratch. It does take time, and it's also very cost effective. I can make a huge batch of sauce with lentils, where it's a meal in itself to cover over chicken or whatever I'm eating. And it fills me in a different way. I feel good because I've eaten good ingredients. So it matters. It matters the kinds of things that you eat. And if you are eating a lot of foods that have a lot of preservatives, salt, sugar, and different types of preservatives, it will lower your mood. Excessive caffeine has never been good, although we are now much more of a coffee culture. I remember when we started having coffee houses like Starbucks, for one that I can think of. I never drank coffee then. I couldn't drink it because it used to give me headaches and migraines, so I stopped drinking it 26 years ago. So 1999, I stopped drinking it. And the effect of not drinking coffee, weak or otherwise, has had a huge effect on me in terms of my mood being more positive. I have seen people that crave the caffeine and say, I've got to have my coffee. That then becomes addictive, and caffeine can be addictive. It will also give you a peak and a trough. So it will give you energy to begin with, and then it will trough the energy. So drinks and mood. Water. Drink plenty of water, which will give you plenty of hydration. It's important to stay hydrated. For every cup of coffee you drink, replace it with have 2 glasses of cold water, because the coffee will deplete the hydration in your body, because we are, depending on what research that you read, between 60 and 80 parts water. And things like coffee can deplete and dehydrate you. And sometimes we think that we're hungry, but we're probably thirsty. And when we are thirsty, it can affect our mood. So reach out for some water rather than that coffee fix. Dehydration can cause fatigue and anxiety and irritability. Energy drinks are a big no-no. I've seen lots of people with their cans of energy drinks that if you look at what they are, what contains in them, there's different sugars, preservatives, and also a lot of them, especially I'm thinking of Red Bull in particular, is very concentrated caffeine. Yes, it gives you the energy boost, but it also not only gives you an energy boost, but it's followed very, very quickly by a crash of energy. And that could be just the same as if you eat something highly carbohydrate, or if you have something that's very sweet, you'll have a peak of energy and then a trough of energy. Alcohol and mood. We think that alcohol makes us feel relaxed. And I suppose in some way it does on some level, but it's a pseudo-relaxed. It actually is a natural depressant, and it moves your mind and your mood into a fog where you become detached and not present. And the mood you think is elevated and you think that you feel good, but actually it is a depressant. I remember when I was quite young having copious amounts of wine at lots of dinners and gatherings, and I would always need the next day to recover. I'd almost lose the next day. So if I went out on the Saturday, I would lose the Sunday in a fug because I needed to rest, and that's because I wasn't relaxed. I didn't have good sleep because it is a depressant. And it also worsens anxiety and depression. I'm not saying don't have a glass of wine or a glass of beer or a glass of champagne. I'm saying everything in moderation. I now listen to my body in a much bigger way, and a couple of glasses of wine and I've enjoyed them, but any more and I probably don't need them. So it is about balance. It's about enjoyment, balance. Everything in moderation is good. So it feels relaxing when you drink, and that is something that is said by everyone. They drink alcohol because it relaxes them, but it is short term. Mood cycles. Emotions feed emotions. If you are sad, you will get more sad, and you will attract more sadness to you. Other people will have their sadness and they will share their stories of sadness, and then you will feel more sad. So each mood exacerbates if you are in that mood. If you are in an angry mood, then more anger will exacerbate the anger, and so that you can stay in this mood for longer than is necessary. So stop, watch, observe, and then move into a different state of mood. Frustration creates cycles of negative thinking and mood contagion. Have you ever been with somebody that's really happy, and when you've been with them for half an hour, you feel really happy? Have you ever had that experience? That's contagious. If you have been with somebody that's almost victim-like and, oh, woe is me, by the time that you've spent an hour with them, you're feeling, oh, woe is me. And it might be that their world is okay, but they're complaining about the cat next door or the neighbour next door, or that somebody did something that was nothing to do with them, but they will find all the things to focus on to exacerbate the negative state of mood. I question and I invite you to consider, what mood are you in? And for you to decide and change the mood. Consider that if you have the news on or read newspapers, and there's two things that I have on. I don't have the news on, or very rarely. I just watch the top things as it comes on, and I've got the measure of what's going on every now and again. But if you've sat through an hour of news, it can be very depressing and it can lower your mood. So if you're reading newspapers, the same thing. Also listening to the radio. So choose your way that you interact with the world. Because if you are sitting and watching the news and you're seeing the news 3 times a day, no wonder some people feel suicidal, because the news is usually focusing on the negatives. Social media can affect how you feel, and it influences our emotional state of being. Music and food. I mentioned earlier on about the fact that I celebrated my birthday with 70s and 80s music. I forgot to mention that in the evening, I went to an event that was Motown and Northern Soul. So I'd encompassed all my favourite types of music in one day and evening. And I was feeling on top of the world. It elevated my mood. It elevated everything about what I was experiencing. And all sorts of wonderful things came in since I've had that day. And it's reminded me, it's made me realize that dancing, music with others on my own is one of my go-tos. What's yours? Music, different music can lift you. It can lower and lift your mood. Different types of music can lower your mood. If you are listening to music that's very, very deep, very dense, like heavy metal, then you can almost feel your mood changing. If you listen to, and they call it poppy, bubblegum type music, or for me, I call it party music or wedding music. It can elevate your mood and lift you. So what are your favourite songs that make you feel good? If you've had a breakup, have you ever, when you've had that breakup, put on all those sad songs or the songs that you used to listen to, and then you feel even worse? I've done that myself in my time when I was quite young, and I just feel worse, and so I'm crying and I just cry more. So what do you want to do with your mood? Here's a practical tip. Create playlists, mood playlists, happy, calming, and energizing, so that when you are in a low mood, you can raise your mood. Better moods give you better health. a nutrition choice. Eat regularly and balanced meals. Maintain blood sugar, and it will maintain your mood. Mindful drinking. Limit your alcohol, your caffeine, and drink plenty of water. Have emotional awareness about your moods. And I highly recommend and invite you to journal. It's something that I found extraordinarily helpful when you journal, when you just write how you're feeling. And it's not about trying to constrict anything, just whatever is in your mind, put it down onto the paper and just let the writing write itself. And you'll be able to move out of that mood, especially if it's a negative mood, and it will move you into a more positive experience. Talk to others about your feelings, especially if they are starting to get on top of you, and especially if you're a man that keeps things to yourself. Find that good friend, find that family member, so that you feel different before it gets worse. Mood shifting activities, listening to uplifting music, getting some fresh air, exercise, connect with friends, laughter. Laughter is so good for you when you belly laugh. And if you're not with anyone, if you're single and on your own and you live on your own, put on a good comedy or have friends. I'm in a lot of humour groups on Facebook, and I frequently get in my feed humour memes, and I frequently laugh for no other reason apart from seeing a great, funny meme, a humorous meme, and it's made me laugh. Laughter is the best medicine, and I could talk more about laughter in another show. Gratitude. Be grateful for what you have. Gratitude practices, when you are grateful for something good that's happened, it moves your mood and it moves you into an elevated state of being. Mood is not random. It gently influences every day through what we eat, drink, and feel. Please take a small daily choice that you can create a positive change in your own personal well-being. From my perspective, I choose dance or I chant Sanskrit mantras if I'm feeling low or negative or things get on top of me, because I'm human just like you. My invitation today is to do one small thing that changes your mood. Thank you very much for your attention and your interest. Please subscribe to USA Global TV and Radio. We have 2 channels on USA Global TV and Radio. Please subscribe to both of those. You can find all of my Talking Heads episodes under the playlist Talking Heads for each year. I've been in USA Global TV and Radio now since 2021, and I think I've been doing Talking Heads since that year. So you will find all of my Talking Heads, or Google my name under the banner of YouTube, and you will find all of my shows. Please do reach out if I may be of service to you, especially if you have a low mood. Well, thank you, Dr. Jacqueline, our wonderful and esteemed leader. Dr. Jacqueline has put up my LinkedIn. Please follow me on social media, LinkedIn and Facebook. Drop me a message there. And please do contact me, reach out to me on email, which is nomorestress@live.co.uk, or call me on +44 if you're international. If you're local, 07523 120 189. Thank you very much for listening. It has been an absolute pleasure to hopefully elevate your mood. Namaste.
Ever dreamed of hosting your own TV show, sharing your story with a global audience? Now's your chance to shine. At USA Global TV and Radio, we make it easy for you to create, host and broadcast your very own TV show. Whether you're a storyteller, entrepreneur or industry expert, we help you bring your vision to life. With our exclusive interview, live streaming and podcasting training, you'll gain the skills and confidence to captivate your audience. Our global platform ensures your voice is heard worldwide. Join our community of creators who are already making an impact, one show at a time. Step into the spotlight. Host your own TV show on USA Global TV and Radio. Book your discovery call today at usaglobaltv.com. Copyright 2025 USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. To learn more, visit usaglobaltv.com.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Steve Klein Art at steveklein.art.
My name is Steve Klein, born Manchester, England, 1953. My quest in my lifetime is to create artwork from my soul and the deepness within my wildest dreams and fantasies. In 2012, my heart stopped when I was given too much anesthetic for a minor knee operation, and this near-death experience took me to another multidimensional world, an out-of-body experience, and I was given the gift of being blessed by an overwhelming, burning passion to become, for the very first time in my life, an artist with an eternal, passionate desire to bring my art, which I've named multidimensional, subliminal, freeform art, to the world, as only 3% recover from what I experienced. And now in my golden years want to release my cosmic, vital energy through my art to allow people to be a part of my cosmic dance.
To learn more, email roccogoodwine@gmail.com. For VIP pricing, mention USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.